Speaking of going nowhere, the New England Patriots, this really is stunning to me. And I mentioned this last night. There is no category in the standings for moral victories. If there were, the Patriots would have at least two right now because they hung tight and tough with the Buccaneers and also with the Cowboys, teams that are better on paper than the Patriots. But 0-4 at home. First time since 1993. That was the first year of the Drew Bledsoe era. He was the first overall pick that year. Also Bill Parcells. But they're 2-4. Mac Jones is looking good, not great. There are signs of promise. He took a hit yesterday. That was, if he hadn't received his welcome to the NFL moment, my goodness, he got it yesterday from Randy Gregory. But Mike, the window gets more and more toward being completely shut for the Patriots. 4 losses, I don't know what you got to do. With 17 games, I don't know what anybody's got to do to get in. Is it 9? Is it 10? Is it 11? Patriots were 11-5 in 2008 without Tom Brady and didn't get in. Here they are at 2-4 with 11 games. The math is very hard for me, especially since I have a head injury. There are 11 games left, and you've already lost 4.
Listen, I'm with you. And first off, I'm sorry you didn't have an independent doctor there to check you out right away to know if you are concussed or not. I think it's something we have to look at. But
I don't think I'm concussed. But let me say this: nobody cares. But this really does hurt. I can feel the pain emanating through my face. It really is painful to me. I am playing injured. All right, go ahead, Mike.
Well, there's pain pills. There's, the needle if you want to numb it up. There's a lot of ways to go.
I didn't have time. I need to have somebody to run me some ibuprofen up here. Go ahead. I'm sorry I interrupted you. Patriots.
That's okay. So, the Patriots, we look at, the top of the AFC like we look at the NFC, and we see the teams there. Obviously, now the Patriots, we talked about them winning the division all the time. Now, the way the Bills are set up, we're going to be looking at them for a number of years until they could be caught by another team in the AFC East, and who will it be first? I think I would probably still say it would be New England actually retooling and being that team before I'd say Miami or the Jets. We'll have to wait and see. I don't think anybody really in the South, quite honestly. You have Baltimore in the North, Cleveland. We're obviously going to talk about it. I don't think Pittsburgh scores enough, even though they're playing better. And then the West, I mean, what the hell with going on with the Chiefs and more interceptions by Mahomes? They get the win, but them and the Chargers and what they're doing as well. I look at New England this way. When you say the window closing, I don't agree with that because you have a young quarterback who I think is a good quarterback. So now it's going to be, what do you put around him? As I said, their defense is pretty good. They played 2 of the top teams in the league in Tampa Bay and Dallas pretty well. So I do like their defense. So a lot of it's going to be the pieces of the puzzle around them. And we want to look back again to last year, what happened with them. Remember, they had the most opt-outs in the league. The most. They had over a handful of starters opting out, during the COVID season, and injuries as well. But injuries you can't use as an excuse because everybody has injuries. So I see them with the ability to rebuild around a young quarterback in Mac Jones and be the team that eventually will challenge Buffalo at some point in the AFC East. So while this year certainly it's not going to happen, the way they're kind of retooling, I'm really interested to see where they end up.
Yeah, and look, I don't think the window's closing on the franchise. You're starting into a new era with a quarterback that has shown promise. But for this season, a season I thought the Patriots had a good chance of putting it together on the fly and getting back to the playoffs, because when you have Bill Belichick, you're always going to be in the mix. For this season, 4 losses, 6 games in, I'm struggling to figure out how many more you can afford to have before you're just done. You got to run the table at this point. Can you go 12-5? I think 12-5 would get you in. That's the thing. We just don't know. We have nothing to compare it to with this extra game. But it's a shame for the Patriots that they've had 2 games, tough games, close games against elite teams that have 1 loss each right now, and they've just come up short. And here they are at 2-4, and they've got plenty of work to do.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.